Let's talk some Auburn recruiting as the Tigers are making a run at the number one class in America. We've talked about them all week long. You know what else we've talked a lot about? Auburn flipping Deuce Knight. So, Steve, as we head into yet another weekend, I guess the only question here that remains is this the weekend that Deuce Knight flips his commitment from Notre Dame to Auburn?
Well, from the time I put in my on 3 RPM to now, this is the best I've felt. I've always felt good about it, but I feel great about Auburn's chances to ultimately flip Deuce Knight, Notre Dame quarterback commit from Mississippi. He's having a lot of dialogue with his peers about potentially playing at Auburn, expecting him to perhaps be back on the plains this weekend as well for his second straight Auburn game. So things are going well, man. Relationship with Coach Austin, Coach Freeze, Kenyatta Watson's been huge in that recruitment. Auburn's history at the quarterback position, being part of adding his name to that list, playing in the SEC for this program, getting to know the young wide receivers, getting to know the recruits and the commits and the potential top targets. He feels very comfortable around Auburn. And I think Auburn's in great position. Ole Miss still trying to hang around. Notre Dame hoping to get him back to campus. But I like where it stands strongly for Auburn right now.
All right, Steve, you also wrote another great story on five-star cornerback Na'eem Offord, who is committed to Ohio State, but there's been buzz all summer, a little bit of buzz all summer about Na'eem Offord in Auburn, maybe Alabama. But as we entered September, it just felt like something flipped. I shouldn't use the word flip. Something switched. The momentum really began surging for Auburn. And now at this point, I mean, I'm over on the Ohio State Letterman Row message boards, and Ohio State insiders are admitting, like, hey, yeah, this might be a guy that is tough for Ohio State to sign. I mean, it's not imminent that he's going to flip now, but what's your take on his recruitment after talking with him?
Well, he was at Big Cat Weekend at Auburn. He was at Auburn's season opener, went with some family to the game last Saturday. There's no question he has a keen eye on Auburn. And there are people around this program that tell me that they think he's ultimately going to end up at Auburn. But talking to his dad and the family, still a lot of love for Ohio State. Yeah. Coach Walton, the cornerbacks coach there, full trust that he can develop them on and off the field. Looking to get back to Columbus for the Iowa game or the Nebraska game. And he's currently scheduled to go out to Oregon. They love Dan Lanning. They love that staff. He's currently scheduled to go out to Oregon for the Ohio State game. But maybe he ends up at Oregon sooner than that. There's some talk that he could take a visit out to Oregon sooner than that. So while it's easy to sit here and say in-state recruit, number one player in the state, five-star corner, going to flip to Auburn. Auburn's doing such a fabulous job recruiting in-state players. Ohio State still committed there and going to get back. In Oregon, we know that they do a good job in these five-star recruiting battles as well.
Well, you just hit on something. I might as well ask now. We don't hear anything about it, so I'm not putting him on flip watch by any means. But what about a guy like Zion Grady? He's also from the state of Alabama. He's committed at Ohio State. Auburn, I mean, everybody in the South wanted him. But is he a guy that Auburn's going to continue to recruit similar to Na'eem Offord?
Well, Florida State's a school that has definitely still tried to recruit Zion Grady. Now, Zion Grady's taken a couple visits to Ohio State. He fell in love on his first visit, felt that same love for the school on his second visit. Larry Johnson and being coached up by Lauren Nidus, guys like that, I think excite him. I think he's going to be a pretty tough flip for Ohio State as it stands right now. Sometimes these kids just fall in love with these schools, and I get that sense with Zion Grady.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like I said, I don't have any reason to believe he is going to flip. He just kind of fit the bill of what you said Auburn kind of wants. They want to lock down the state, and they want to flip one from Ohio State. So, hey, why not?
Right. Ohio State, look, they've been in these games before. They've been flipped on. They hold on to J.J. Smith. They hold on to Edric Houston. They lose Jeremiah McClellan. They know what big boy recruiting is.
Absolutely.
They're prepared to battle for Na'eem Offord. Coach Walton's relationship with him and the family is second to none. The development, the track record of development. Ohio State's been good every single year of all our lives. They're one of the most consistent football teams in college football, spanning decades upon decades. And those are all things that are attractive to Na'eem Offord. And it's up to Auburn and Oregon to say we have a better situation because of X, Y, and Z. He knows what he's getting with Ohio State.
Yeah. And Ohio State has the number one class in America. They have the best recruiting class in the country, so it's no surprise that other teams are going to come after some of these players. So Ohio State playing a little bit of defense right now. But as far as it goes with Auburn fans talk to us. I mean, you got Elijah Melendez that could be committing soon. You got Uzme Kroma that's also trending heavily to Auburn. We don't know what Andrew Babalola is going to do ever, but hey, there's a
way in the thick of that one.
Yeah, and there's a lot of Auburn targets out there that we're not even talking, that if they can win some more ball games, that we're going to be talking about some more flip targets. So Auburn fans.
Yeah, don't forget about Tyler Lockhart, linebacker, still RPM to Auburn. Wouldn't be surprised if he's there this weekend coming off a visit to Mississippi State. So still like my Auburn pick there too.
All right.
So Auburn fans.
Tap in, talk to us. How you feel in number one class? Is it possible? How many wins do you feel that Auburn needs to get to that number one class? Steve, personally, and I want you guys to chime in comment section below, but Steve, I think it's 8. I think Auburn has to win 8 games. If they win 7 games, I don't know if they can land the number one class in America.
Well, I just think it's about showing improvement, being in these big games. You know, they got Cal in Saturday afternoon. That's no layup.
When it comes to recruiting.
Arkansas is a very winnable SEC game at home to kind of kick off conference play for them. But they got some tough games. You know, Oklahoma, they get them at home. They're at Georgia. They're at Mizzou. They're at Kentucky. Vanderbilt, you got to win that one. L.A. Monroe. So, and then Texas A&M comes to your place, and then you're on the road for the Iron Bowl. I don't want to put a win total on it as much as every game, just be exciting. Have fun on offense. Show you can play some high-level defense, and just be an exciting football team.
Winning is exciting.
And I think, you know, they'll be there in the mix for the number one class in the country because no one's going harder on the trail than them right now. Maybe there's a couple schools. I mean, Miami and Auburn, those two teams are burning hot. We know Oregon's going to have another run. We know Oregon's going to have another run on them. Oregon's going to get a lot of kids to campus this fall. Again, we said they would in the summer, and they did. They're going to do it again in the fall. It's kind of in their DNA. And Georgia's got a chance to finish number one. A lot of good Georgia buzz behind the scenes right now.